Well, severe weather is active in parts of the country where it should be a little earlier in the spring, but a moderate risk of severe storms is possible in Oklahoma and Texas Thursday. More chances over the next few days. As always, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any important stormy weather updates. We've got a moderate risk of severe weather, something that's been rare so far lately with the lack of severe weather. And it's getting to be, at least in the southern plains today instead of the southeast. In fact, we have a 10% tornado risk, western Oklahoma into parts of northeastern Texas. Now, you'd expect severe weather further north into the central and northern plains this time of year, but stay tuned for a video next week. I'm going to explain the lackluster severe weather season for the plains and what's partly contributing to that. But right now we've got an omega block. This is heat across the central part of the country, trapped between two pools of cool air aloft, west coast, east coast, and that continues to produce this abnormally strong subtropical jet, and that's why the severe weather is staying south. The organized storms, because you get shear wherever you get the jet stream, and we got a surface low coming out of New Mexico today. That's going to be a dry line. Drier air is more dense. It acts like a cold front, even if it's hotter than the air it's moving into. And of course, the important thing, the jet stream, as I mentioned, a subtropical jet that remains abnormally strong for this time of year across the south. That helps to produce the shear. If you don't have a lot of upper level wind, you can't have much shear to produce organized storms or severe weather. So shear this afternoon is going to be pretty high, high enough certainly to produce some significant potential supercellular activity across parts of Oklahoma and Texas. And that shear is going to remain on and off in that area. So that's why we're going to see severe weather chances basically in the south central part of the country for the next few days. So watch this drier air, that's the pinkish air, make its way east across Texas into Oklahoma. So that dry line will make its way east. That acts like a cold front. It'll kind of wash out, but it is going to be one of several mechanisms to help produce some lift, some instability as we head into the late afternoon with some of that daytime heating to produce those storms. And a corridor of dew points that are trying to make their way north into the plains. So here's 6 p.m. We've got some discrete cells. That's the best chance of seeing potential tornadic activity. And then those storms could produce high wind gusts later on through the evening. In fact, a pretty good bet of some downburst winds through much of Oklahoma and Texas. Significant tornado parameter is going to be fairly high, again, north central Texas into southwestern Oklahoma as we head into the late afternoon, evening, early overnight hours as a result of that shear and instability that we'll be seeing. Another way we can measure that is looking at the model's updraft or HELICITY track. So this is looking at where we could see some of those updraft tracks develop or supercells and lining up kind of right where that moderate risk is expected. And then some high wind gusts as well with these storms. So all these bright yellow, orange, red spots are some wind gusts. Don't pay attention to exactly where they are, but the general area where conditions are favorable. And then heading into Friday and Saturday, again, it's going to be similar area right on the edge of some of that cooler air to the north and east, drier air, and kind of the bottled up heat and humidity along with the jet stream, the shear in those general areas. So into Saturday still, we're going to be looking at probably Oklahoma for the potential for severe weather, and still waiting to see the more typical severe weather season that should be marching north into the plains. This should be the peak month, but again, we'll talk more about that bizarre climatology for severe weather next week.